Hello, and welcome to my second ever book Unhaul. I've done a very long series of these things in which I had previously showcased books from my library that I will be taking out of it on the pretense that they are either in rubbishy condition, they are underlined and highlighted all to hell, they are duplicate copies, or I myself really don't find myself reading these anytime soon, and therefore can justify taking them out. I did about a 6 or 7 part series, as I said, about those books there, and took about a day just going through my library and seeing what books I could take out. I did that again today, and I'm going to go ahead and show you all the books that will be taken out of the library. We have here, we'll go through the bin books first, of which there are only 3, but the first one here is Bassman's Honeymoon by Dorothea Sayers. Simple reason why this is going in the bin is because I tried taping this cover, but, you know, that happens. So that is going in the bin and will never be referred to again. Next bin book is The Pocket Book of Great Operas by Henry W. Simon and Abraham Venus, or Venus, however you say his name. I don't see myself reading this at all. And also, well, there, cover just falls off, so bin. Okay, third and final bin book is The Exploration of the Colorado River and its Canyons by John Wesley Powell. This is a Penguin book, and the main reason why I'm getting rid of this is because you can see it looks in good condition, but all those pages just fell out of it. So this is fit for the bin, if you ask me. Okay, so next are the highlighted books, or just generally annotated books. First here is the Essays of Montaigne. I actually want to get to read the Essays of Montaigne here pretty soon, so I suppose I will buy another copy of this in the same Penguin edition. But you can see here, it's pretty severely highlighted throughout. Not that that's a bad thing for this specific text. I'm sure, you know, it might be good to pick out whichever quotes or whatever are insightful. But for me, I just want to read it and not have to deal with any of these mindless annotations. So that's going in the pile of books that are annotated. And then next, finally, we for the annotated books, we have 2 H.G. Wells volumes. I have no idea why it is these are annotated. Who's reading H.G. Wells nowadays? In schools? Apparently these people were. We have the Selected Stories of H.G. Wells, edited with an introduction by Ursula K. Le Guin, or Le Guin, however you say her name. The story, what's it called? The Crystal Egg, I believe. And also, that there, you see, the pen is underlined. Let me see if I can find it now. You'll see there, it's underlined pretty severely. Don't understand why people do this, but it's going. And then it pains me to not throw this one away, but just to get rid of this one because it's pretty hard to find. And that is H.G. Wells's Tonnerre Bungay. And you can see here even text on the, or not text, notes in the margins there. Just pretty significant notes in the margins. Just awful. Now for the books that are in good enough condition that will most likely be accepted by my local bookshop and therefore will win me store credit. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the first pile here and then show you just all of these books here. Got quite a few. So we have a similar volume to that great pocket book of great operas. We have stories of famous operas by Harold Vincent Milligan. I don't see myself reading this anytime soon, as I said. So this is going to the bookshop. So someone else can read it if they so desire. In fact, let me get a bag. Pour all this stuff in here. Next here is a hardback, the O'Hara generation. These are stories by John O'Hara. I have a paperback of this, and you'd think I'd want to keep this book. It's just that this one takes up plenty of space, and I have most of the stories that are in that one paperback. So this is going to be enjoyed by someone else. So there's that. Okay, we've got 3 volumes of short stories by John Updike. We have here Pigeon Feathers, we have Afterlife, and Trust Me. The main reason why I'm getting rid of these is because I have my eyes on the Library of America's 2-volume set of the collected stories of Updike. And if I were to get those, I would basically have every short story he's ever written, and these would have no purpose in my library. So I'm going to replace these with that set one of these days, and somebody is going to encounter these in the bookshop once I do donate them. Okay, next book here is a huge one. This is The Science of the Mind, The Philosophy of Faith, The Way of Life by Ernest Holmes. I don't see myself reading this at all, to be honest with you, although it is spirituality. But I'm not too sure about reading this. And also, considering that I've just now recently realized that you don't need anyone else's interpretation of Scripture save your own. That makes this book all the more useless, so someone else can go ahead and enjoy this if they do happen to see it. Let's go into the bookshop. We get the next pile here. Hopefully this video won't be as long as the first one. Very first one I did. We have The Fairy Queen, Book 1 by Edmund Spenser. I don't think I'll ever get the second volume, wherever you even find it. I got this for free at my school's library many years ago. And it's an epic poem, and I don't see myself reading this at all. And if you know Ahab, he loathes epic poems. I find that, the Odyssey was all right, but other than that, I don't really like too many epic poems. So this is going to the bookshop, as I said. A couple books on the Renaissance here. We have... are they on the Renaissance? Or no. One book on the Renaissance. We have The Renaissance in Perspective by Philip Lee Ralph. I don't know if I'll ever read this, to be honest with you. And it's annotated. So that should go in the annotated books. And then... oh, this one's annotated too. I didn't realize that. But The Painter's Methods and Materials with 64 illustrations by A.P. Laurie. It's a Dover Dover edition. And it is underlined. You can see there in pink, maybe. So that's also going in the annotated pile. We have a couple of science fiction volumes. We have the Science Fiction Hall of Fame volumes 1 and 3. There's a lot of stories in here that I could read, and I would be very much interested in reading them. It's just that these things are massive, and they take up so much space that could be used for other things that I want more than these. So these are both going to the bookshop, where they will be found and enjoyed by somebody else. And do I have another bag here? Yes, no, that's full of crossword puzzles. I'll find another bag sometime. Okay, next pile of books here. We have here this one little book, Lost, by Hans Ulrich Treikel. This is supposed to be like a postmodern type of a book. It's very unusually written. It's written all in one paragraph, which is kind of strange. But it was a contemporary novel, and I don't think I will ever read this. I don't even know why I bought it. There's him there. I don't know if I'll ever read this at all. I don't know why I bought it, so I don't even think I bought this. Maybe I did. I don't know. But also, it's about something after World War II or something. Post-war Europe. Not too interested in that type of setting at this point in time, so this will be read and enjoyed by someone else once it finds its way into the bookshop. We have this book, Longitude, the story of a lone genius who solved the greatest scientific problem of his time. That's a mouthful of a title, by Deva Sabel. There's a penguin that I bought. You can see there it's inscribed to someone's father on their 80th birthday. But it's a penguin. I bought this, but I never read it. I don't think I ever will. It doesn't seem particularly interesting to me, so it's bookshop bound. We have a copy here of I, Claudius by Robert Graves. I'm getting rid of this. Isn't pretty good condition, but I'm getting rid of this because I have a Penguin edition that has both I, Claudius and Claudius the God. So I don't need a standalone edition of I, Claudius. I could just refer back to the omnibus. So bookshop this goes to. Okay, we have few more paperback books here. Oh dear, Logan is just he's gonna wince when he sees this. The Northern Lights, or as it's called here, The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman. Everyone knows the story behind this, and myself not finishing it. I am so sincerely sorry, Logan. It was just too bloody depressing and relatable to me to want to finish it. So this is going to the bookshop, where it will be taken up by someone who's not as easily discomforted by this material as I am, and perhaps it will be enjoyed by that person. So we will see, certainly. Okay. These next three books I absolutely hated. Two of them I had to read for school, and one I read on my own. First book I hated was The K by Theodore Taylor. Horrible book. I don't even remember what in the heck this was about, to be honest with you. But not horrible. I didn't really care for it too much. I wouldn't read it again. I don't even know why I have it. So even though it doesn't have that little corner there, it's still in good enough condition to where it could still be sold in a bookshop. So didn't like this one too much, so maybe someone else will. Oh my lord, this book was absolutely atrocious. Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry by Mildred D. Taylor. Another Taylor. I did not like this book whatsoever. I read it in school many years ago. I think when I was in year 8 of secondary school, and I did not like this one bit. It was perfectly boring and just not a very compelling story at all. So Maybe someone else will find it compelling. Oh my word. I don't know if the video is out yet. I mean, the video is not out yet at the time I'm filming this, but most likely when this is uploaded, the review for this will be out. But as you saw from the actual review, I was very, very vehement in my just strong dislike of this book. And you know what this book is. I've teased it many times. It is Oh, What a Paradise It Seems by John Cheever. Or as I call it, Oh, What a Hell It Seems. Because it is hell when you read this book. That's what it feels like. And someone else can suffer through this volume. Because I don't understand how anyone would like this. There's no plot at all to this book. It's absolutely meaningless. It's short, and it's a waste of 3 hours or an hour and a half, however long it takes you to read this little pamphlet. But I don't understand how anyone could like this. So someone else can suffer at the hands of this book, because it's leaving my possession for good. And these oh no, wait a minute, there's one more book that I also hated. I didn't hate, it just didn't jive with me at all. It wasn't written in the best way. I did not like the writing style at all, as I said. It was kind of just run-of-the-mill and just tell, don't show. I don't know what it is with these authors and such and how they write these books. It's not the greatest thing. We have here The Habits of the House by Faye Weldon. This is the only Faye Weldon I've ever read or ever attempted to read. This is first in a series. In this series here. And it's just, it was just so pedestrian, the way it was written, that I was like, am I reading at all? This is just not good. I mean, anyone could write this way. This is not at all earth-shaking whatsoever. I don't understand it. To be quite frank, I don't. Which is why it's leaving me and it's going to the bookshop. So, there you go. Okay, now these last few books, this last collection of books, are all part of the Britannica Great Books series. And I'm getting rid of these solely for the fact that they're big and bulky and cumbersome hardbacks. They are nice, but they take up far too much space in my library, and I will most likely replace all of these with smaller, more compact editions in either hardback or paperback. But the first one we have here is Rabelais, which is obviously Gargantua and Pantagruel. I showed a penguin of this in one of these first installments. But yeah, you can see it's a double column print, as you would have it in a Bible. But it's not really good if you want to read literature, in my opinion. So, and they're all like this. So this is going to the bookshop. I won't show all these, but anyway, we also have more Montaigne in this same edition. We have Montesquieu and Rousseau combined. We have John Milton, which I believe is mainly just Paradise Lost. It's Paradise Lost plus all this other stuff. So, yeah. We have a volume of Hegel, just some philosophy stuff there. I actually wanted to keep this volume, but it's way too cumbersome, and it has a work in here that I cannot find anywhere, but I'll try and see if I can find that work someplace else. This is the Karl Marx volume. The reason why I kept this for so long is because It has capital or Das Kapital in there. And also the Communist Manifesto. But I could easily find that someplace else if I so desire. I'd probably buy it online and just get rid of this. I was also going to keep this, but it's way too big and bulky and such and all that, and I could just find this anywhere. It is, well, I might keep this, I don't know. Depends on how I feel. I might keep it, I might not. But then again, I could probably find a more compact edition of this. This is William James, obviously Brother Henry James, famous psychologist. This volume, I believe, is The Principles of Psychology. That famous book that he wrote. So, yeah. And then the last of these Great Britannica books, we have 2 volumes of Edward Gibbon's Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. Complete and unabridged, but I could easily get a complete and unabridged edition. You can see the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, Volume 1. I could easily get a complete and unabridged edition in a more compact form. And then Volume 2. So, that was my second ever book unhaul, even though I originally titled the second part to my first book haul, my second book unhaul. I felt as though I may as well group them all together and make it just one unhaul. But I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to go ahead and, along with all those books, include, I don't know. I'm going to include these with the donation to the bookshop and such, and properly dispose of these. And, well, I actually did clear quite a lot. I cleared off one of these whole shelves here. So I have plenty of space in this library. And I don't know if I'll buy too many more books. Maybe just some replacement copies and more compact editions. But I'm not too sure really what else I will do. At this time, I will let you know if anything changes, if I do put anything back in the library. I know that Lovecraft edition that I talked about, I did put it back in the library. It's a very hard, tight squeeze, but I did manage to fit it in that shelf, and it's never coming out. I'm not joking, it is never coming out. But anyhow, I hope you've enjoyed this book unhaul, perhaps gotten a taste of what type of literature I read and such, and got a sneak preview as to what will be in this library. And I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good morning, evening, afternoon, midnight, whenever you happen to see this, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.